God, I blew that 5,000 in like 2 hours.
Today we're in St. Johannesburg sitting with Bernie Siala, full-time trader, mentor, and the man who turned a loss into a 3-bedroom apartment. During our conversation, we'll unpack the losses that nearly broke him, the trades that changed his life, and the 4 a.m. routine that keeps him consistent. We'll also speak to why Bernie doesn't believe in revenge trading, and we'll see how he interacts with his community to make sure that everyone gets the best out of him. So here we are with Bernie. Bernie, good morning, and welcome. How are you today?
Thank you. I'm good. It's a bit chilly out here. But I'm very fortunate to be sitting here, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so I think Bernie, before we start any conversation, I think people would like to know who Bernie is, where he's from, and insistently, what does his day really look like?
Just to get into that, my day starts around 4 a.m. in the morning. I start off with analysis. I do that for about an hour. And then after that, my guys are usually up at 5, so I have to be ahead of my guys, my community. So basically, I do the analysis for about an hour. Then from 5 o'clock, we start trading together. So they all know that 5 o'clock we start trading together. We trade what we call the Asian session towards the close of it. And then we start trading currencies around 9 o'clock, which is London Open. And then we usually done around lunchtime.
Oh, geez. So you seem to have a full day of work there. So I just want to take it back a little bit, Bernie. Want to get to know Bernie. So the best place to obviously look at you is from your friends and your family. So if your friends, family, people close to you were to describe you in one word, what would they say?
So my friends would say I'm spontaneous because I don't like to plan a lot. Things like road trips, that kind of stuff. We don't really go too much into planning. I'm a spontaneous guy. I just like to, if we're going to do something, let's do it now. If we're not going to do it, let's not do it at all, But my members say I'm very strict because for me, I'm very strict on my strategy, what I use. So if I'm talking to my community guys, I tell them, this is how simple it is. You just have to follow the plan. If you want to make it, just follow the plan. So basically, my guys say I'm strict.
It's very interesting. You mentioned spontaneous as one of your character traits and what people would describe you as. You look at people in the trading community. You guys are very systematic. You're very structured. Yeah. So let's go back to the first time Bernie heard of trading. When was that? What was happening? And what are your thoughts on the whole thing, the whole system of trading?
Basically, the first time I heard the term trading was actually in high school, grade 11. I went to a school called Kweba Commercial School. So grade 11, there was a JSC competition. So there was like a JSC drive. And then these JSC people came to school and they were like, there's a trading competition. So basically everything is paper trading, is what we call demo trading. So basically you had to pick shares, you had to do that kind of thing. So I found an interest there in grade 11 already. And then from there, I just this is what I want to do. And then later on in life, I actually got to do it full time. So, but the first time I heard about trading was definitely in grade 11, yeah.
All right. What was it, that made you move from curiosity to actually making your first trade?
I demo traded for a while. I think I started demo trading in varsity. I started trading in varsity demo trading. Demo trading is whereby basically it's not a real account. It's just numbers on a laptop or on your phone. And then I did that for quite some time. And then I think I did it for like 6 months. And then from there, I was like, you know what, I think I'm profitable, which is not actually profitable because you're not trading real money. So, and then I started my real account. I funded 5,000, I remember. Oh my God, I blew that 5,000 in like 2 hours. So that was my first trade, and I was trading gold. That was the first time I traded, and it was basically because at the time I was intensely learning about trading.
Okay.
Basically, I went through a school And then that school basically we're teaching about risk management and stuff like that. So after I got to learn about the risk management part of things, I was like, I'm comfortable to put my money in the trading platform, because that's when I learned about, okay, you could put 5,000 rands or $5,000 and only risk 2-3%. So because of that, I was able to get comfortable and say, let me start, because I don't have to risk my entire 5K. Because a lot of people think when you go into trading and you put your money in, like it's just gonna evaporate. You actually have control over how much you can lose. There's what you call stop losses, that kind of thing. So a lot of people have this myth of, oh, if I put my money in there, it's just gonna disappear. It's not like that. So that's what got me into trading, that I could actually control how much I can lose from that entire amount.
What lessons have you learned from your first trade that you still implement now?
One of the rules that I have, and I tell my community this, I tell them, the guys, when you go into a trade, have a set amount you're ready to lose. That's the first thing. You understand what I mean? So if you don't have that, you can't be a trader. Because with trading, you cannot say, I'm not going to risk anything. If you bring 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 rands to the table, you have to have a set amount that you're ready to lose, because you can't make it in the market without any risk whatsoever. If the market was like that, we'll all be traders. You understand what I mean? If there was zero risk to attach to it. The thing is, you just have to decide how much am I willing to lose from my entire portfolio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go into something, and you mentioned that when you go into trading, you need to expect or accept the fact that at some point you will make a loss. So then I want us to just look into that and just focus on that a little bit. What is your biggest loss that you've made? And ultimately, how did you bounce back from that? Because it's important for people to understand and to know that, yes, you've made a loss. But the key thing to it is, how did you come back from that?
I'll never forget my loss. Biggest loss, 25th March, I think this was 2020 lockdown. Remember the time when we went to that level 5 lockdown thing? I remember markets went down crazy that day. I think the market was down 10%, 20%. In our world, when the market goes down 10%, it's a lot, because you don't lose 10%, you lose more than that. So I literally blew my whole account. At the time, my account was sitting about 3 point something US. And at the time, I was still a part-time trader. So what I would do is, when my salary comes in, I'd put a portion into my trading account. So I had very limited funds. And I tried building my account January, I built my account February, I built my account. March 25th came, and I literally wiped out my entire account. That was about 3 point something. So here I am. I started off the year with a year plan. And the year plan is going good. I'm ahead of my targets. I'm looking good. And then that one day just wiped out everything. I think I stopped trading for about a month to 2, because I was just like, my year plan is gone.
Yeah.
What am I possibly going to do? I refunded my account, I think 2 months later, and then I started taking it more easy. I started taking it slower, focused a lot on more risk management. And ever since, my life changed, because now I'm like, okay, you could actually lose your entire account. Something crazy could happen. Trump could just come out and say something crazy, and then markets move like that. So that's the day where I was like, every trade I make has to have a stop loss, no matter what. Because you never know what's going to happen. Anything can happen while you're sleeping and your trades are open. So having a stop loss and all of that is very important. So like I said, I took a 2 months break, and then I came back, and ever since I never stopped.
So I want to tap into, I guess, your psyche and your mindset, because it's easy for someone to make a loss and then never want to go back. So for me, I think the interesting part is, what is it in your mindset, or what was it that said, I actually need to go back? What was that thing that said, I'm bouncing back and I'm going back into trading?
I call it Forex school fees. Right? I call it Forex school fees, because here's the thing. When you're trying to learn how to trade, you're gonna make losses. So I call them school fees, because at the end of the day, you're not gonna learn for free. So in terms of learning, you're always gonna make those losses every now and then. But what you just need to do is govern those losses. So what basically brought me back into, I still had a passion for it. I was still watching the news. I was still checking the charts. I was like, you know what? That was a bad day, and it was a rare day in the market. It's not the type of day that you will see every week. I mean, it was once a year. That huge drop was once a year. And I just literally said, you know what? I can still go back with the little that I have. Let me start again, because I really like this thing. I really want to make it. And then, like I said, I never looked back after that.
Yeah, so key to this is that you mentioned you were a part-time trader. The transition from part-time to full-time, when did it happen, and what was that thing that said to you, you know what, I can actually do this full-time?
So, like I said, I was a part-time trader, right? So, what I was doing at the time, before I was working as an underwriter, right? So, and I was doing this thing part-time, and I told myself, for me to go full-time, I need to be able to make more than my salary, right? And then I started putting my Forex profits into a different account. So I went ahead and opened a business account, and then I started making my withdrawals into my business account. Later, sometime that year, you know, things happened at work, and I was laid off basically. And then I was like, okay, now I gotta make this thing happen, because there's no going back up. There's no going back to corporate, none of that. So I said to myself, okay, you have to make this thing work. We have to be ultra disciplined about it. So, and then I started seeing more gains because I was now focused on it. I was now laser focused because I was now doing my own accounting. Say, okay, how much profits did you make this week? And then I started building. Over time, I then started making more than what I was making as an underwriter.
Yeah.
Then I realized, okay, life could work out. This is fine, right? So with time, I think now I'm doing probably 7-8x of what I was making. So yeah, now I'm doing it full time. But the thing that led me to go full time was my bank statement. A lot of people want to do this full time, but they don't have an honest conversation with themselves. Just because you made $10,000 or rands, whatever, today does not mean, oh, I'm a professional trader, I can do this every day. Look at your bank statement at the end of the month and have an honest conversation with yourself. Am I making enough to pay my bills? Am I making enough to be okay for the next 3, 4, 5 months? So I looked at my bank statement, I looked at what I was making over 6 months, and I was like, this is fine. I'm doing better than I was before. So I just kept going and I kept going.
So obviously there's a conception in South Africa that, you know, corporate's the way to go. I'd like to hear from you is, when did your family realize, you know, that this is actually something that is, you can make a living from it?
That's a good question. I remember this very well. So my mom came across my videos on Telegram. She came across my videos. She was like, Sonny, what is that? What are you doing there? Right? I'm like, Mama, is trading, is this and this and this. Okay, how does it work? And I just basically explained a little bit of how it works. And she's like, how much money do you make from this thing? I sent her my bank statement. She's like, oh, okay, you are doing fine. So that was the moment when I also got validation from my family to say, okay, you know what, you could actually... And then she started asking for more money. Because now I showed her, okay, Mom, this is actually working out. So that's when I got validation from my family to say, okay, no, you can actually do this full time.
What has been your best trading day so far? And if you're comfortable with sharing, how much did you make on that day?
So my best trading has always been with NFP. So NFP is non-farm payrolls. So non-farm payrolls basically is an event that happens every first Friday of the month. So basically it's data collected from the years to see how many jobs there are. So basically it's like unemployment rate here in South Africa. So they do that data collection every first Friday of the month. So it kind of just indicates how the US market is doing and then indicates how the economy is doing. So there's a lot of people that watch that thing. I'm talking retail investors, I'm talking institutional investors. They look at the data and then basically the market shoots up or down on the day. So most of the time, if you do your analysis correct, you could make good money. So for me, best day, I think I made about $6,000. And then the following Wednesday, which was CPI, it's another event, I made about 3. So that week I made about 9,000 rands. Sorry, not $9,000. $9,000.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of my best trades. Yeah. That's one of
So if Octa were to make you a mentor to newcomers, you know, what would be the lesson that your first lesson you'd give to newcomers?
Basically, my first lesson would be risk management. A lot of guys do not talk enough about risk management. A lot of people talk about the nice part of trading. Ooh, look at these profits. Look at these. Look at me, I'm balling. Look at my lifestyle. So I would really focus more on education. That's why most of the time, if you go through my profile, you won't find any flashy cars there. You won't find any of that. Because for me, follow the knowledge. Find a mentor who you can say, okay, I'm actually learning something from this guy. Because if you follow the lifestyle, you're just following the money, you're never going to learn anything. because at the end of the day, they're going to be selling you something that's not really tangible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So seek knowledge, because once you have the knowledge, you have the power and you can do it by yourself. Yes, there's AI, there's all sorts of things going on right now. Find a way to utilize those tools, but with knowledge, not just rely on, robots to say the robots are going to do the trading for me. Because what happens is when they blow your account, what do you then do? You don't learn anything from them.
Yeah.
But if you take the trade and you make the mistake, you learn from the mistake. If the robot takes the trade for you and then it blows your account, you don't learn anything from it. So I would basically be telling the guys, focus on the learning aspect of everything.
Yeah. So, Benny, you seem to be a wealth of knowledge, and I think your knowledge would make for a great mentor. Let's throw forward and look into the future. 5 years from now, where is Bernie, both from a trading perspective and from an IB perspective?
So for me, future, what I want to do now is focus on Africa. I've been doing a lot of seminars around SADC. We did Namibia last month. We did Lesotho the month before that. We did Swaziland as well. Next trip again is Namibia. So basically, how I see myself in the future, I want to really push myself as an IB, because I'm looking at the whole of Africa. A lot of people try and just corner me into South Africa alone. I'm looking at the whole Africa. I'm looking at global. So 5 years from now, I want to see myself just mentoring my community. Not trading much, maybe trading 2-3 hours a day. I don't like sitting on the market for too long. So so when I start, like I said, I start my day at 4 a.m. and I'm practically done with the trading around 11. I don't want to be sitting in the market all day. I want to just trade maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, and the rest of the day I just want to be mentoring my guys. So in a day, I'm doing about 8 meetings with 8 different people, mentoring them. So that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on just imparting knowledge and giving other guys basically tips on how to be a better trader. That's where I see the future. That's where I want to be in forever.
From you to me, I now want to start trading. I don't know where to go. What books would you recommend that I read? Or, what would you recommend I do to just level up and upskill myself?
First book I would say read Trading Bible. Just look it up, Trading Bible. You'll see a Japanese on the book there. So Trading Bible, I tell all my guys, if you want to learn how to trade, get the Trading Bible, because the Trading Bible will basically teach you candlesticks formation. It will teach you the technical side of things, because the fundamental side of things and the basics it's not that difficult. So also I would say start with a demo account. Get a broker like Octa, get a link, get on the Octa platform, and then start trading demo, just to have a feel of, okay, what am I doing here? Look at a couple of YouTube videos. You can look at mine, you can go through anybody else's, and then just find a way to learn how to execute a trade, right? Once you see the trades running up and down, the blues and the reds, you're naturally going to get more curious. And then from there, you can start reading. And then very important, get a mentor. I think, because you're going to cut out a lot of mistakes if you get a mentor, because they'll be able to coach you. This is the wrong risk management, or this and that and that. Because I've seen with my community members, most of them in the first week make a lot of mistakes, like rookie basic mistakes. And the thing is, with Forex, when you make a mistake, nobody hits you with a stick and say, oh, you did something wrong. You blow the money. You lose the money. So you don't want to be learning and then all the time you're losing big funds. So I always say start with demo trading for quite some time until you understand the figures, and then put money in a real account.
You're speaking in dollars, and I think from a South African perspective, we all need to kind of have this. Is trading only done in dollars? And when you look at it, for someone who wants to come into this platform and come into trading, do they need to take into account what the rand dollar exchange rate is? What are the certain things that people need to take into account when they come into a trading platform?
So most international brokers, it's US dollar. So you could have an account in pounds, you could have an account in euro. Some local brokers here in South Africa do offer ZAR accounts, but I always encourage my guys to do dollar, because at the end of the day, if you're trading a dollar account and you're making a withdrawal, you're already looking at about times 17, times 18. So whatever effort you put into trading a dollar account, you are likely to get more money out, especially when you then exchange it back to rands. So I always tell my guys, go for a dollar account if you can.
You know, I hear about you withdraw the profits, but when you went into trading, did you have set goals of what you wanted to achieve? Do you want to share what those goals were, or did you go into it as, you know, I'm trying this out. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
So for me, it's always been about passive income. Before I started trading, I looked at what other traders were doing, and I was like, do I really need 8 cars? You know what I mean? Do I really need a 6-bedroom house? No, you know what I mean? So for me, it's always been about passive income. So have a set goal of how much you want to make per month, and let's start with that, and have a realistic figure. So for me, it's always been about passive income. So that's why for me, it's very important to track how much profit I'm making on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. So for me, it's always been about passive income. Even now, I only look at my whole figure for the month. A lot of traders don't look at how much they're making a month. They're looking at, oh, today I made good money. But tomorrow you blow the account. So let's have an honest conversation and look at your bank statement at the end of the month. Is it enough? And how do we grow that figure on a monthly basis? So I'm chasing consistently. I'm also chasing to grow that monthly figure.
Okay. What was your first big purchase? The purchase that made friends, family, you know, even your community realize, wow.
So it was my apartment. I live in Sandton. So I think buying that apartment for me was validation to say, okay, you've made it. You're living in the neighborhood that you want to stay in. Yeah, so basically that was my first big purchase. And I think for me, it's also an investment. Property is always a good investment. I'm looking to acquire more properties. That's what I really want to do after trading. So if I can just build up a nice portfolio, because you also have to have an outlet for where your profits go. You can't just be popping bottles in the club all day. That's what makes us different here in South Africa. There's this thing of, in South Africa, we want to compete as traders, you know?
Yeah.
Who's living the most lavish lifestyle? The guys up north there, the IBs and the traders up north, I'm talking Nigeria, Ghana, because we had a big seminar. Like I said, we went to Mauritius. We had a big seminar. Then I got to interact with other top traders. It was like a top 100 Africa. I was part of that. So I got to learn those guys are using profits to build hospitals, to build schools, to build, you know, proper things that are gonna bring back the money. Yeah, in South Africa, we need to level up. We need to level up and stop this thing of competing to say who popped the most bottles last night. So we really need to change from that. So yeah.
So, you know, tell us a little about, you know, you got this place and this was your greatest purchase, as you had mentioned, and everyone loved it. So outside of trading, you know, what is it? What are your daily rituals? What do you go through? And how do you kind of make sure that you're ready for the day?
Okay. So I'd like to start with basically my hobbies, what I do besides trading. Usually I'm sitting on the couch playing FIFA when I want to just stay out of the charts. And I usually watch movies, Netflix, just to try and calm myself and just stay off the charts. And then in terms of like morning routine, like I said, I'm usually up at 4, make a cup of coffee. I can't start the day without a cup of coffee. And then I get to analyze, and then I get to start to talk to my community guys. I send them signals, and then we start trading around 5 a.m. in the morning. And then we hit the whole day until around lunchtime.
What's your favorite trading instrument?
GBP USD, that's my favorite instrument. So basically that's the pound sterling. So that's my favorite because I've been trading it since I started trading, which was like 5 years ago. So that one for me, I know it in and out. So, and also I can track it during that London session. So it's very easy for me because that time is basically like South African time.
All right, so I think we're going to wrap it up. Sun's going down. Had a good day chatting. The one thing, looking at young South African people who want to get involved in this, in trading, you know, so what is the one thing that you'd really like for them to understand and to take out of trading so that they could be inspired to do what you do?
100%. So I would say that they shouldn't think it's going to be easy. A lot of people try and make it seem like it's extremely easy. It's easy to start, but to sustain yourself and learn risk management and how to properly grow accounts is the difficult part. So just be ready to be able to take yourself deep into this thing and say, I'm going to stick it out and learn, no matter how painful it's going to be at some point. Because a lot of people make it seem like it's very easy, but it's not.
So you speak of consistency, and I mentioned in the intro that, you believe consistency is obviously the new profit. Do you have a rule that you live by, or a rule that you kind of institute before you make a trade? What is your kind of ritual before you make a trade?
I have a lot of rules. So number one, analyze very early in the morning. That's the first one. So I don't analyze and trade at the same time. So I make sure I do my analysis first, and then I do my trading after that. Because a lot of people, what they do is they want to do analyzing and trading at the same time. You're going to be biased because you're already in the position. So you're then going to manipulate your own mind to say, this is the correct analysis. But if you just do the analysis before you actually do the trading, you're more likely to be profitable because you're just doing it from a neutral standpoint, right? So number one rule that I have, analyze before you trade. Number two, have a set loss in mind to say, this is how much I'm willing to lose today. If you see that figure, stop. I think this is the most important part of my ritual. So I always have a figure. So whatever I'm ready to lose, I just put on the account. If I know that I'm ready to lose $500, that's what I'm going to put on the account. I'm never going to put on the account what I'm not ready to lose. So, and also three, have an exit point when you trade. So when I start trading, I always have an exit point. If I'm going to start here, I'm going to leave the market at this point. Because a lot of people just open trades and they expect miracles to happen when they're trading, some miracle figure to come. Do a proper risk management to say, okay, if I do this trade, this is how much I'm going to lose. If I stop out the trade at this point, this is how much I'm going to make. And then stick to those two things. So have a stop and have a take profit. Those, I think, are the three most important things when I'm about to take a trade here.
Go back to whenever you started 5 years ago, and what would Bernie now tell Bernie from 5 years ago when Bernie started trading? What advice would you give yourself back then?
Looking back now, I would say withdraw the profits. Reason being, I actually did my best trading in my first, second year than now. The difference now is that I'm ultra disciplined about my losses. The things I would do back then when I started trading were really good because I was learning. I wasn't really too cautious, so I could make big wins, but I wasn't consistent and I wasn't withdrawing. So I would say the biggest difference between a successful trader and somebody who's not successful, looking back to 5 years, if I started withdrawing from the first 3 months I started trading, I would be much further now. Because a lot of people, what they do is they fund their accounts, and once they fund their accounts, they have this magic figure that they want to get to. I want to make $1 million, right? And then probably maybe first month you make $5,000, which is good money. But because you feel like I'm still far from $1 million, you push the account too hard, and then at the end of the day, you end up blowing the account. So for me, advice I would give myself, to a younger version of myself, I would say, withdraw the profits.
Okay. You speak very fondly of, the community that is around you and the people you try and teach. How important is that sense of community for you? And, what is it that you want your community to get out of your interactions with them and possibly, the advice that you give them?
Yeah. So for me, so I have a mentorship program. Okay. I have a mentorship program, and the name of the mentorship program is called NMX. So basically, I do some videos on TikTok around it, YouTube, and so forth. So basically, in my community, we share signals. Trade setups. We share about the news, technical setups. We're just a trading community where we share knowledge, basically. So as a mentor, my job is to basically I analyze the markets in the morning, and then I just kind of give an indication of what's going on. I'm not forcing anybody to trade any particular instrument or whatever. I just basically give them what I'm looking at. I'm like, oh, this looks good. Oil looks good today. Or gold looks good today. Or this looks good today. And they'll have a look at that and make their own informed decision. So I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a person showing you what I'm doing. And then you can make use of it, basically. So in my community, basically, like I was saying, I teach them how to trade, how to place a trade, how to execute a trade, how to close it. I also teach them about risk management. How do you control how much you put in, how much you get out, that kind of thing. So I've been doing it now for about 5 years. I did it part-time for some time. I think I did it for about 3 years part-time, and then I've been doing it now 2.5 years full-time. Yeah.
You obviously trade on the Octa platform. Why did you choose Octa?
Okay, so the Octa thing came about. We were going to Mauritius. So we were basically going for a big celebration with another broker. And on the flight, I met a lady called Mpo. So she was already trading on the Octa platform. And then she talked about Octa from the time we got on the flights until we landed. So she basically sold me Octa about the quick withdrawals and everything. So by the time we landed, I was like, you know what, I'm ready to put my money on Octa. I'm ready to just trade now. Let's make it happen. Let me sign up for the account. Let's make this thing happen. I did that immediately when we landed. And then I basically started trading when I came back. So when I came back, I looked at the platform. I looked at the first thing I tested was the withdrawal. I was like, let me put this thing to a test. Let me withdraw. That money was in within 2 minutes. I was like, oh my God, this is not a lie. So that after that, I was like, everybody wants money yesterday. Nobody wants money after 1 week or 1 month or after 48 hours. So after that withdrawal, I was sold. I was like, okay, I'm comfortable. If a broker can pay you out quickly, it means that you can trust them more. So after that, that's when I really started trading a lot on Octa.
In one sentence, what is the best piece of advice you'd give to someone walking through the door right now who says they want to be a trader?
It's not as easy as you think it will be. If you want it in one sentence, it's not as easy as you think it will be.
Outside of trading, there's got to be someone that inspires you, someone you look up to, someone you're like, wow, I really want to do that. Who's that one person that inspires you outside of trading, and why?
I would say I look up to Tom Cruise. He's a big actor. I've been watching his movies since I was a little kid. So for me, him stretching his career for so long up to now is a marvel to me. So that's one of the guys that I look up to outside trading. Just his work ethic, the fact that he does his own stunts. I think he puts a lot into his craft. So that's one guy that I look out to besides outside the trading world.
Thank you so much, Bernie. We've heard from a guy who went from the losses that almost changed his life to buying an apartment through using the platform and the work that he does. So we just want to thank Bernie for taking his time, sharing his journey with us, and really hope that this will be something that's helpful to other people that want to go on the journey.